In fact, we could start off with Shadow Culture Secretary Stuart Andrews. Stuart, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good to talk to you. I'm going to start with that question by Elon Musk. You know, what did you achieve last week in your job?
Well, last week, do you know what? I'm going to be honest. Last week, I took a few days off. I don't take many days off, but I did actually do that last week as we were in recess.
You were in recess.
But it never stopped working, I have to say. You know, I'm always online and what have you. But
yes.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a very honest answer, and I commend you for giving it to us. Let me ask you first of all about Jonathan Reynolds, the Secretary of State for Business. It's a story that's been around now for more than the time that it should be. He's apparently popped up in India today, so he's obviously got no intention of resigning, despite the fact that he pretended to be something he wasn't for quite a long time. What do you make of that?
Well, look, I mean, I wish him well in India. I'm slightly anxious about what sort of agreement the Labour government might come up with. We want to see a good trade deal with India, but we want to make sure that they don't give away too much in the process. I think Jonathan has got some questions to answer. Of course he has. People want to know that they know who the people are who are representing them abroad, and that what they say on their CV is true. You know, I think there are questions here, not just for Jonathan, but we've had other members of the of the cabinet, you know, having questions over their CVs. Just be honest about what you did in life. You know, I think what is really important is that people bring a wealth of different experiences, but be truthful about them.
Well, exactly right. And unfortunately, this government does seem to specialise in avoiding the truth and not being truthful. I mean, Keir Starmer was up in Scotland last weekend, I should say, talking about how important Grangemouth is to the Labour Party and what great things are going to happen there. But he's basically shutting it down. So, I mean, if that's what you're doing, then how can you go on about how brilliant it's going to be?
Well, exactly, and I'm afraid we've seen this time and time again. So you're right on the energy side of things, you know, saying in one breath that they're in support, but then actually making policy announcements that will be completely opposite to that. We saw prior to the election and just after the election commitments to farmers that they wouldn't introduce the family farm tax, and they have. Right. They said before the election they wouldn't, you know, cut winter fuel allowance, and they have. And so it goes on, and it's the hypocrisy people don't like. And again, with the WASPy women, for example, posing ahead of the election with these women campaigning, saying we're on your side, and then when the ruling comes, they then say, well, actually, no, we're not anymore. Yeah. It's that hypocrisy that people are angry about.
Absolutely. Just one final one for you as the Shadow Culture Secretary. The Daily Mail today's got a piece about Kemi Badenoch writing to Tim Davie at the BBC. Was licence fee payers' cash given to Hamas? It's a good question. If in fact it turns out that licence fee payers' money was given to Hamas, surely Tim Davie has to go, doesn't he?
Well, this is exactly why Kemi has written to him. It's why I've written to the Culture Secretary, Lisa Nandy, because we want to know exactly what has happened here. You know, they say that the usual processes were followed, but this is an extreme case. If you're going to do a documentary in one of the most sensitive parts of the world, you need to ensure that you're bringing about balance. And the accusation that one of those involved is the son of a member of Hamas raises serious questions, and that's why Kemi is absolutely right to ask for a full investigation to happen so that we can see what the facts are, and then we can decide what action should be taken.
Yeah, absolutely right. Good to talk to you, Stuart Andrews. Thank you very much indeed, Shadow Culture Secretary.